a planetary inheritance where both biotic and abiotic factors take place. Now, sometimes even in one marker, they ask you the renewable and non-renewable sources. So what are these now? Renewable sources are those which can be used without the possibility of the resources becoming deplete or exhaust, right? So there are some resources which are never ending, right? So these are basically known as renewable, that you can renew it again and again. But there are some sources, some of the resources which are non-renewable, which you cannot renew again and again, right? Like the fossil fuels, coal, petroleum, all that. And these oceans and all that are basically the renewable one. So if somebody asks you for the functions of environment, it's basically, it supplies the resources, right? Which includes both renewable and non-renewable resources. Plus it assimilate waste and sustain sustain a life by providing a genetic and biodiversity. Plus sometimes they provide you the static views like sceneries and all, right? So over here, right now, what is the thing is that we are using the resources at a very high rate. So what will happen when the rate of resource excretion exceed that of a regeneration? So see, for example, right now, let's just take a scenario. You are eating in a restaurant, right? So over here, they are making, for example, noodles. Okay. So over here, what they are doing, you people are 4 people, right? They are making the noodles. Okay. And you people are so much hungry. So for example, at that time, what happened? The material to make noodles got end up, right? It got finished, right? But still you people are hungry. So what is happening? The rate of regeneration stopped, but you are still eating it, right? You haven't finished your dinner, right? So this is what at that time, what will happen if there are no resources and we people are still utilizing the resources. So at that time, what will happen? The environment fails to perform its third and very important function, and this results in the environmental crisis. So automatically what happened, or sometimes in one marker, they can ask you when environmental crisis comes. So when the rate of excretion, like using the resources, exceeds that of regeneration. Clear? And this is the situation of today all over the world. So right now population is increasing, but the resources are that much only, right? And it takes millions of years to form the resources, right? So this is what right now the current situation is, that the current environment crisis are because of this situation, that the rate of excretion is more as compared to the regeneration, right? So this is what. Now, what this we already discussed, supply demand reversal of the environment resource. So earlier the situation was that there were less people and resources were in more number, right? A rate of regeneration, all this thing. But right now population is increasing due to industrialization, population explosion and all this. So people are using the resources, and there is a heavy pressure on the resources in the current situation, right? And automatically what happened, because of this, there is a lot of waste generation, or there is a lot of pollution and all that, and this happens. Now, one very important thing is global warming. We discussed in the previous class, like what is global warming, the causes, effect, everything. But over there, we discussed about one term, which is the ozone depletion, right? From here, one marker also get formed. First of all, where is the ozone layer present? There are different layers: stratosphere, troposphere, mesosphere, exosphere. So many layers are there. So in this stratosphere one, the ozone layer is present, right? So what is ozone depletion? Ozone depletion refers to the phenomena of reduction in the amount of ozone in the stratosphere, right? The problem of ozone depletion is caused by high level of chlorine and bromine compound in the atmosphere. So why this depletion is happening? Because chlorine level, right? Chlorine level plus bromine level is increasing in the stratosphere, and automatically what these two compounds are basically doing, they are basically depleting the ozone, right? And from where, like this chlorine and bromine, from where they are coming? The origin of these compounds are CFS, used as a cooling substance in air conditioner. See, in every household we have air conditioners, right? We have the refrigerator, right? So automatically whenever, of course, if they are cooling, they will be releasing some gases, right? And these are the compound like CFS and all that they are releasing, and automatically where all the gases and all that will go in the atmosphere, and that atmosphere, it goes to stratosphere, and they start depleting the ozone layer. So ozone layer look like this. What ozone layer basically do? This is a sun. So sun basically releases ultra UV rays, ultraviolet rays, right? And these ultraviolet rays are so harmful. If directly you will come in touch with you will have a skin cancer, your skin will burn, all this. So we have basically a layer, called ozone layer. So this basically filters it out, and it basically whatever rays come to us, they are not that much harmful. Clear? But due to scientific research also, there are some holes in the ozone layer now, because ozone layer is depleting. For example, this is an area, right? So the ozone layer is covering this much of area, right? But now it is somehow reducing, right? A time will come when ozone layer will be this much thin, and it will not act as a barrier between the ultraviolet rays that are coming from the sun and the earth surface. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
And automatically what is happening? This is not only harming the terrestrial organism, even the aquatic organism, it is harming both. Now, if somebody asks you what is the status of India in natural resources, right? So India has abundant of natural resources. India is very much rich in terms of quality of soil. We have very good quality of soil. We have hundreds of river tributaries, lush green forests, plenty of mineral deposited beneath the land surface, vast stretch of Indian Ocean ranges and mountain. So coming to natural resources, India's situation is very much good. We have abundant of natural resources. Clear? If somebody asks you that quality of soil is good, hundreds of river and all that, right? So if somebody asks you what is the scenario, it's very good. Now, of course, the threats or the challenges, land degradation, we already discussed, loss of vegetation occurring and all that, biodiversity loss discussed, soil erosion discussed, air pollution discussed, right? Now, very, very important part comes from here. This Central Pollution Control Board, very for 1 marker as well and for 3 marker as well. Okay, what is this CPCB? Or sometimes they can give you a paragraph over there and they can answer you. Of course, there should be some board to regulate the things, right? For example, you people are giving the examination. There is a board, CBSE, right? There's a book called NCRT. So they have the different board, right? Similarly, if pollution is increasing day by day, so of course, there should be some board that will be regulating it, right? So it is Central Pollution Control Board. Clear? So Central Pollution Control Board has identified 17 categories of industries, right? So what they have done, 17 categories, large, medium, as significantly polluting. So over here, not every industry is bad, right? So there are some industries that are basically doing it. Now, from here, 1 marker becomes important because first thing they ask is the various measures adopted by Ministry of Environment and the Central and the State Pollution Control Board may not yield reward unless we considerably adopt a path of sustainable development. See, for example, I made rules, so many rules, but not everybody is going to follow it, right? So until and unless we ourselves believe that we should go for sustainable development, nothing will be done, right? So the concern of our future generation alone can make development last forever. Development to enhance our current living style without concern from posterity will deplete resources and degrade environment at a pace that is bound to result in both environment and economic crisis, right? So over here, first thing is that you should know how can you control it. So even the Central Pollution Control Board, they identified these industries and they said that the only method to reduce the pollution is to follow the goal of sustainable development. See, for example, if you are worried about the future generation, right? For example, what your future generation will be having, right? If you will exhaust something, right? So that will automatically make you a responsible citizen. Instead of polluting the things, you will think, oh my God, what our future generation will do, right? So this is what the only method. If everybody starts thinking about sustainable development, then the things is possible. And now, ma'am, okay, from the day one, we are studying about sustainable development. So let's just understand in detail the sustainable development, because the chapter itself says sustainable development and environmental crisis, right? So sustainable development. So development that will allow all future generation to have potential average quality of life that is at least as high as that which is being enjoyed by the current generation. So that is called basically the sustainable development, right? So no need to write it down like this. Basically, there was one development agency, which is in UNCED, United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. They have given a definition for sustainable development. So they have given sustainable development is the development that meets the needs of present generation. Like whatever the present generation, you and I, we both are present generation. So our needs are being fulfilled, but without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs, right? You are not compromising the needs of the future generation. So that is basically the definition which is given by UNCED. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
The use of concept need in the above definition is linked to the distribution of resources. So over here, need means what? We need resources, right? So need means resources. This seminal report, our common future. This basically we should know, keep in mind that we all have a common future, right? If no matter whether you are a billionaire or millionaire, everybody have the same amount of oxygen. Everybody need a fresh air. Everybody need a clean drinking water. It doesn't mean whether you are a millionaire, so you don't need anything. You don't need a clean food, clean environment, clean air and all that, right? Now, there was one person called Edward Barbier. He said sustainable development is a development that meets the basic needs of all, particularly the poor majority, for employment, food, energy, water, housing, and ensure growth of agriculture, manufacturing, power, services to meet these needs. According to him, that person basically, he said he was also correct somewhere. What he said is, for example, currently, these are the rich population. Okay, and these are the poor population, right? If I will give 100 rupees to them and I will give 100 rupees to them, automatically they will become more richer, but they will always be remain poor, right? But in the scenario, if I give 100 rupees them, but 500 rupees them, then what will happen? They will start their development. Yes? Yes? Because poor people need more money, right? More development. So what they said basically, see, for example, if I will keep on giving 100 rupees, then in future what will happen? They will become more rich, but they will always remain poor. They will never become rich, right? So that's why he said that instead of just focusing on the goals that everybody should give equal, he said that we should meet the basic needs of all, right? Basic needs should be fulfilled to all, but you should focus more on the poor majority, right? You should give them more employment, you should give them food, you should give them energy, water, housing, and all that, so that they can meet their needs, right? Others, what will happen? They will always remain poor, and rich will become richer, and poor will become poorer, right? This is what. Now, of course, there should be some steps to this attain sustainable development, right? So over here, first, conservation and promotion of natural resource. So conserve and promote natural resource. For example, trees and all that, conserve them and plus plant more trees. Then preservation of the regenerative capacity of the world natural ecological system. Just preserve it and regenerate the world cap. For example, if my country can regenerate 100 coals, 100 kg of coal, then use that capacity, na? Right? Then avoiding the imposition of added cost or risk on future generations. So avoid that situation that will basically put the future generation in high risk. Okay. Then, according to Herman Daly, a leading environment economist, to achieve a sustainable development, the following step must be taken. Right? So this is what basically the present generation, how the present generation can promote the sustainable development. Conserve it, promote it, preserve it, avoid the imposition and all. Right? Next is this. Knowing to Holland Daly, a leading environmental economist, to achieve sustainable development, the following step must be taken. First, limiting the human population to a level with the carrying capacity of the environment. The carrying capacity of the environment is like the Plimsoll line. Plimsoll line is basically this line, right? Of course, the line has a capacity. Once it got full, then it will burst out, right? So Plimsoll line of the ship, which is load limit mark, right? They have a limit, right? In a ship itself, there is a limit, right? So in the absence of this line, for the economy, human scale grows beyond the carrying capacity of the earth and deviates for the sustainable development. So first thing, how you can promote the sustainable development over here is that you should like the human population should be within the carrying capacity of the environment. So for example, if this is the environment, if they can have only 100 people, then please maintain this capacity. Don't go beyond it, right? And they have just compared it with the ship. That ship always have a limit that, okay, you can have 100 kg in this, 200 kg. If it goes out of that, then automatically the ship turns, right? Second is technological progress should be input efficient and not output consuming. So it should be like whatever input are coming, right, instead of output. So it should be input efficient. Whatever inputs are being put, they should give you the results, not consuming, that you are consuming it but you are not giving any results. Third is renewable resources should be excreted on the sustainable basis. That is, the rate of excretion should not exceed the rate of regeneration. Okay. Then next, for non-renewable resources, rate of depletion should not exceed the rate of creation and renewable substitutes. Okay. Non-renewable resources are basically that you cannot renew. So of course, the rate of depletion should not exceed more, right? Regeneration should be more, but not should the depletion rate should be not more. Then inefficient arising from pollution should be corrected. So whatever inefficiencies are arising due to pollution, that should be controlled, because what is happening, that is basically harming the environment and automatically resulting in a bad situation. If the environment will degrade, what the future generation will do, they won't be have a clean air, they won't be have a fresh water. So what they will do, right? Their life won't be possible, right? So these are basically the steps that you can take, right? Now, strategies for sustainable development.
Yes, ma'am.
So just give it a reading, this one, then we will discuss about the strategies. Okay, just read it, no need to write.
Okay, Done, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's just do the strategies, how to do that, like how to promote the sustainable development. Okay. First is use of non-conventional source of energy, right? What are non-conventional source of energy basically? There are two sources of energies, right? One is the conventional and one is the non-conventional. Okay. So conventional means which you are using from the long time, right? Right? For example, what for as a fuel, what you are using? You are using wood, right? Coal. Yes, all this thing you are using from long time, right? This is called conventional, which is the earlier method. Non-conventional is basically, for example, thermal energy, right? For example, solar energy, right? For example, wind energy, right? All these are basically the new. The non-conventional means which are not earlier used. These are basically the new, right? So what you can do, wood is a non-renewable resource. Once it will get finished, there will be no more wood, right? Coal, non-renewable. You cannot renew it. But these are basically the solar energy, the wind energy. They are abundant in nature, right? So instead of using these resources, what we can do, we can use a non-conventional source of energy. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So use of non-conventional source of energy. So India is hugely dependent on thermal and hydropower plants to meet its power needs. Both of these have adverse environmental impacts as given below, right? So thermal power plants emit large quantities of carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. It also produces fly ash, which if not used properly can cause pollution of water bodies, land and other components of the environment. Then hydroelectric project inundate forest and interferes with the natural flow of water in catchment areas and the river basin. Clear? So this is how you can use the, apart from using the conventional source, you can use this. Wind power, solar energy are cleaner and greener energy source, but are not yet being explored on a large scale due to lack of technological device. So using the conventional, so non-conventional one, you need a good technology, right? So this is what, so you should, now people should start shifting from conventional to the non-conventional source of energy. Second is LPG gobar gas in rural areas. So household in the rural areas generally use wood, dung, dung cake or any other biomass as a fuel. This practice has several adverse implications. First of all, if you are using wood, deforestation will be there, reduction in the green cover will be there, wastage of cattle dung and the air pollution, right? When you burn the wood, of course, air pollution is there, right? So to rectify the situation, to correct it up, what we are using? We are using liquefied petroleum gas is being provided. It is a clean fuel. It reduces household pollution to the large extent. Also, energy wastage is minimized, right? And what you can do in addition, gobar gas plants are being provided through easy loans and subsidies. For the gobar gas plant to function, cattle dung is fed to a plant and the gas is produced, which is used as a fuel, which will slurry the leftover is a very good organic fertilizers and soil conditioner. So over here, what they do basically, this is a gas like container, you can see plant. In this, all the gobars dung of the cow will be produced. So from this, they will produce a gas. Okay, and that they will use as a fuel. Plus the leftover dung over here, they can use it as a fertilizer. So of course, this is a good method, right? So this is what now people, what instead of using the old method like the dung cake, biomass, wood, they can use LPG, gobar gas like this in the, see, this is not possible in the urban area, but yeah, in the rural area, because people are more into agriculture, people are more into rearing the animals and all that. So rural area, it is possible. Clear? Clear, Nisha? The second point?
Yes, ma'am.
Now the third thing is that CNG in the urban area. What people can do, they can use the CNG. In Delhi, the use of CNG, which is compressed natural gas as fuel in public transport system, has significantly lowered air pollution and the air has become cleaner in the last few days. So now people, instead of using the petrol, diesel and all that, what they can use CNG. CNG is also working in the same ratio, right? They are also running the car, right? But it is not causing any pollution. Next is wind power. So in the area where the speed of wind is usually high, windmill can provide electricity without any adverse impact on the environment. Right? Wind turbines move with the wind and electricity is generated. No doubt the initial cost is high. Of course, setting up the wind plants and all that, it's very costlier, right? But the benefit are really like benefit are such that the high cost get easily observed. Whatever you are investing, you will get a high benefit or high return from that, right? Next is solar power through photovoltaic cells. What now people are doing? People are using the solar panels and all that for the electricity. In India, what they are doing, this is a recent topic. That's why you should separately should know the benefits. What people are doing, even in the roads, the street lights are there, right? So these street lights are being made up of solar panels. So in the daytime, they all will get recharged, right? And in the nighttime, they will start burning, right? So this is what. So India is naturally endowed with large quantity of solar energy. So in India, India is that place. See, using this in the Atlantic area is not possible because there is a lack of solar energy, right? But in India, the position of India itself is in that place where they get the abundance of sunlight. So we use it for different ways. For example, we dry our clothes, we dry grains, other agriculture products, as well as various items made for daily use. We also use sunlight to warm ourselves in the winters. Plants use solar energy to perform photosynthesis. Now, with the help of photovoltaic cells, solar energy can be converted into electricity. So, with the help of this photovoltaic cell, now the solar energy can be converted into the electricity. These cells use special kind of material to capture solar energy and then convert the energy into electricity. So what are the benefits? First, this technology is extremely useful for remote areas and for the places where supply of power through grid or power lines is either not possible or proves very costly. So for example, I am living in rural area where the supply of electricity is very not enough. Right? So at that time, what people can do? People can have the solar panel. They will recharge all day and at night they can give, because everybody needs light during night time majority, right? Next, this technique is also totally free from pollution. So of course you are generating electricity and all that and you are not paying anything. It's basically pollution free, it is environment friendly, right? Next is mini hydel plant. Now, what is mini hydel plant? Very, very important. In mountainous regions, streams can be found almost everywhere, right? A large percentage of such streams are perennial, right? Throughout, perennial means they flow, they basically runs throughout, right? The seasons. Mini hydel plants use the energy of such streams to move small turbines. The turbines generate electricity, which can be used locally, right? The benefit is such power plants are more or less environment friendly as they do not change the land use pattern in areas where they are located. Second, they generate enough power to meet the local demands. They can also do away with the need of large scale transmission towers and cables and avoid the transmission loss. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Next is traditional knowledge and practices. If you look back at our agriculture system, healthcare system, housing, transport, etc., we find that the practice have been environmental friendly, right? Only recently have been drifted away from the traditional system and caused large scale of environment, large scale damage to the environment and also to the rural heritage. Now it's time to go back, right? One apt example is a healthcare. India is very much privileged to about 15,000 species of plant, right? So earlier there was basically the people, for example, for even for health, right? People were basically dependent on the natural sources. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
About 8,000 of these are in regular use in various systems or treatment. With the sudden start of the Western system, basically what happened, people basically shifted to the surgical methods. People basically shifted to the injections and all that. Earlier there was no injections. Everything was Ayurvedic. Everything was Tibetan fox and all that. Right. So now it's high time. See, even if you are producing an injection of the medicines, right? The surgical things and all that, whatever implants are being used over there, they are non-biodegradable, right? So what should people do? So what they are doing, automatically they won't be get degraded in the environment and automatically they will cause damage to our environment. So what people should do? People should go back to the traditional knowledge and practice. So what will be the benefit? First of all the products which we use, which we will be using, they will be environment friendly. They don't have any side effect. Plus, they do not involve large-scale industry and the chemical processing, right? They all are basically eco-friendly. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, next method is biocomposting. So, in our question to increase agriculture production during the last 5 decades or so, we almost totally neglected the use of compost and completely switched to other chemicals. So, over here, what we are doing, we are not focusing on the natural method. We are using fertilizers, we are using chemicals to increase the agriculture yield and all that. The result is that the large tract of productivity land have been adversely affected. Water bodies, including groundwater system, have suffered due to chemical contamination, and demand for irrigation has been going up year after year, right? So farmers in large number all over the country have again started using compost made from organic waste of different types. It's in certain parts of the country, cattle are maintained only because they produce dung, which is the important fertilizers and soil conditioner, right? And remember one thing, earthworm can convert organic matter into compost faster than the normal composting process. This process is now being widely used. Indirectly, the civic authority are benefited too, as they have to dispose reduced quantity of waste, right? So instead of going for the chemical methods and all that, what people can do, people can go for the biodecomposting. With the cow dung they can use, and that dung they can use as a fertilizer automatically. There's a lot of benefit of biocomposting. First, it will not lead to any environmental degradation. It is eco-friendly, right? And it has no side effect on the soil. It will not damage the soil as well, right? So these are basically the points of biodecomposting. Then biopest control. Biopest means pesticides are basically killing the insect, right? Of course, there is some insect pesticides, a lot of chemical pesticides are available because everybody wants to save their crops. So everybody nowadays they are using the chemically based, pest and all that. So with the advent of green revolution, the entire country entered into the frenzy to use more and more chemical pesticides for higher yield. Soon the adverse impact began to show. Food products were contaminated, soil, water bodies, and even groundwater were polluted with pesticides. Even milk, meat, and fishes were found to be contaminated, right? Because what they are doing, they are basically, for example, now the question is, ma'am, how milk, meat, and fishes, they are contaminated. For example, these are the crops. I use pesticides over here, right? What will happen? This is a cow, right? When this cow will eat this, what will happen? Of course, she is also going to eat the chemically based crop, right? So, of course, the milk which the cow will generate automatically, that will be also contaminated. For example, hens, chicken, they all basically, what did it? They basically ate this only. Again, even the, like for example, over there chemical is there, the once you do harvesting and all that, at that time what happened is, like once you do irrigation and all that, so all the water, extra water goes to the lakes, ponds, and all that, the water bodies, right? And automatically it get fixed. So of course, that also fishes are going to have that oxygen supply and everything from that water only. The chemical is going to the fishes also. So because of this, automatically, what will happen? Even the milk, meat, and fishes were found to be contaminated. Clear?
Yes,
Clear,
ma'am.
So meet this challenge. Efforts are on to bring the better method of pest control. For example, neem trees are providing to be a quite useful. Several types of pest control chemicals have been isolated from neem, and these are being used. Mixed cropping and growing different crops in conservative areas or the same land have also helped the farmers. In addition, awareness is spreading about various animals and birds which help in controlling pests. For example, snakes are one of the prime group of animals which prey upon rats, mice, various other pets. Right? These are also the pests are not only the insect. It's basically those organisms that are destroying the crop. Right? So sometimes even rats, mice, all this basically, destroy the crop. So for them, we have snakes. Similarly, large variety of birds like owl, peacock, they prey upon so many pests. And plus, like so instead of going, lizard are also important in this regard. We should value them and we should save them instead of, using the chemical method. Clear? So this is what. So what you are
Yes,
going to
ma'am.
do? We still have time. So these are basically, so in this chapter you got, I'm just giving you a brief thing about this chapter. In this chapter, what you have to do, you should know about the environment, right? The problems related to environment, right? How these problems are occurring because of the relation, right? Supply demand reversal relation, and what are the causes of this problem, how you can solve this problem. Okay, these are basically the things you should know. Then the next term is sustainable development, and here just focus more on the global warming, right? In environmental problem. Then sustainable development. What is sustainable development? Right, the steps to take sustainable development and the measures one you should know. And in the measure itself you should know basic. For example, I said what is biocomposting, so you should know what is solar energy, so you should know all these terms, the benefit of that as well individually, for 1 marker question or 2 marker question as well. This is how your chapter gets compiled. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so you can start reading from here. Just give it a reading, okay, because we still have 10 minutes and then we are done with this chapter. And I'll just remind me, I'll share you this PDF. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, one more thing on this Thursday, like coming Thursday, like day after tomorrow. If I and Ritika, both of us join, could you even teach us the comparative thing like the same way?
Same thing, which means the comparison one.
Yeah, the comparison
Yes,
one.
if
Like,
you join, yeah, the day
like
you
this,
will.
can you just give a brief? Yeah.
Yes, if you people join on Thursday, just you need to remind me
Yeah.
earlier, like just inform me by tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am. I'll ask Ritika and I'll let
Yes,
you
so
know
you like
whether
whenever you
she
join
knows.
at that day, I will just give a brief. Like the today, I also give you a brief,
Yeah.
right? Similarly, I'll give you
Yes,
a
ma'am.
brief so that you people can because you know I can give you the notes, but gist of the chapter is very important, right? Just the introduction and all that from my end, so that you people also don't feel like, ma'am, what are these notes and what are the important thing in these notes, right? So just let me know in case if you join on the
Yes, ma'am.
Thursday as well. So I'll give a brief on that day as well. And in case if you join next Thursday, then also I'm okay. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. I'll let you know.
Yeah, you can let me know.